Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. This week, we're going to talk about the Super Wildcard Weekend, the first of its kind. We're going to talk about the National Championship game from this past Monday, and there's some COVID issues running around the National Basketball Association, WWE, and some other wrestling organizations as well. So let's go ahead. Let's get right to it. Okay, during the wild card round, it was the Colts and Buffalo Bills. First time Buffalo Bills had a home playoff game since 1996 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, it was close, and but I think Josh Allen and the Bills they put it on at the very end, and the Colts just they couldn't get the job done when they needed to, unfortunately. Some great plays in this one. We got Josh Allen right in the very first part of the game, first quarter, very beginning of the second quarter, when he's trying to do a quarterback power, but then he changes it up and throws a touchdown pass to like Dawson Knox. That was incredible. Um, some really good stuff, but the coach wouldn't quit, and they had no quit in them. Unfortunately, this couldn't get past the Bills. 27-24. Bills move on to the playoffs. The Rams and Seahawks were next on Saturday. This was really they started John Wolford. Wolford, the backup quarterback for the Rams, and on the very first drive, driving down there to the field, or it was the second drive, it was somewhere. It was very early in the game for the Rams, and John Wolford, doing a quarterback power, gets hit by Jamal Adams, and his neck hurts. So who has to come in? The guy with the broken thumb, Jared Goff, and I'm sure that this was already the plan with the backup quarterback, which was to run the football pretty much the entire game, as much as they could run the football. Hopefully they don't get behind where they have to throw it every down. But they still ran the football with Cam Akers. But Jared Goff, he made some throws, he made some plays. Defense stepped up, had a pick six, and they took care of the Seahawks, 30-20. Rams moving on to the playoffs, and um, once again, Russell Wilson not not back yet until that thing. That Super Bowl against the Patriots is going to haunt Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman and a lot of people who they've none of those guys ever get back because they had it won and they decided to throw the ball. Or at the very least, no. Well, no, you know what? They decided to throw the ball because they should have ran it. They really should have with beast mode. And the nightcap on Saturday was the Buccaneers at the Washington football team. And again, this was under unfortunately one of the things where because of the quarterback situation, even though Taylor Heineke played very good and he tried his best, you know, he couldn't get the job done, and it was too much for Washington. Chase Young couldn't get to Tom Brady, um, and it forced the Washington to get out of their comfort zone and play football they didn't want to play. Um, you know, Surprisingly close game, I think a lot of people would say for most of the game. The football team never quit, and good on them. So, but the Buccaneers had the last laugh. They won. They go 31-23. Then we go to Sunday's action. The Titans hosting the Ravens. Now, this is some bad blood because early in the season, the Titans was jumping on the logo of the Ravens. So there's some bad blood here. And it showed throughout the game some very hard hits. The Ravens defense stopped Derrick Henry cold from running the ball very effectively. The biggest play seems to be a 4th and 2 from around the 50-yard line in the fourth quarter. Instead of going for it, the Titans punted, and it was 17-13 at the time. The Ravens hit the ball down the field, kicked the field goal, and when the Titans tried to come back, they didn't. Marcus Peters intercepted Ryan Tannehill, and then the Ravens went down and jumped on jumped on the Titans logo in midfield. Um, and then when they salted it away, they didn't. Most of them, it looks like they didn't shake hands with the Titans. They would just ran off the field. So I'm not a big fan of Marcus Peters. He's one of these guys who just looks like a thug that's playing football, and he's trying to bring his thug ways from the streets to football, and it's sickening. Um, so I'm not a big fan of his. But and Lamar Jackson was trying to get his that thing of the fact that he can't win playoff games. He won a playoff game. Yeah, that's good for him. But he's let's be honest. He's not played as well this year as he has last year, and I don't think that's going to bode well for him in the future. So we'll just wait and see what goes on with that. The second game of Sunday was my Bears taking on the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints pretty much beat down the Bears. Bears had a big opportunity in the first quarter off a good flea flicker, and it just didn't work. And Javon Williams didn't catch the ball. So and then they were just nothing all day. They were just nothing all day. So and apparently today they're going to have they're going to have a a press conference in Chicago where it looks like everybody is going to be staying. A lot of Chicago fans are not happy with that. They want some changes, but we'll see what they have to say about that, about the changes, and we'll see where that goes from here. But the Saints move on. But the Saints have to play better. They didn't play very well, and but they have to play better because they're going up against a juggernaut, uh, against the Buccaneers in the next round. So, and last game of Sunday night, Browns and the Steelers. Uh, the score is closer than the game actually was because the Browns were up 28-0 in the first quarter, and it was fantastic, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see for the Browns and Browns fans. They won a playoff game, and since 1994 when Bill Belichick was coaching them. Wonderful, wonderful story for the Browns. Baker Mayfield showing what he is capable of, and everything the Browns went through with COVID and everything like that. I think it was good to um, to keep for the Browns to win, and for the Steelers, they were just something to get up. Then they were talking about Steelers need to get back to a physical identity, and I think this is one of these things that I don't know. This this is a different time. Different time. This is not the '80s and the '90s and the '70s, anything like that. This is a passing league, and you have to pass the football. And they just can't they can't just say, hey, we're gonna get back, we're gonna go back to running the football like they did all those years ago. It doesn't work like that anymore. Now maybe you can do it like the Titans. The Titans, you have to give them credit. The Titans they do have ability. Ryan Tannehill is good on the quarterback where they they pass the ball, you know, and run the ball pretty effectively. Together, and they have a great combination together. And so maybe the Steelers can do that. Maybe some other teams, the Browns could do that. Some other teams as well could meld the two together. But I think for the most part, if you're going to win in this league, you have to pass the ball, and you have to pass the ball effectively, and you're gonna have to throw it 35, 40 times in most games, and you're gonna have to be effective and complete your passes and score points. And I think, so for the Steelers, I don't. Who knows what Ben Roethlisberger is going to do? But I think if he stays, around, there's no need to change effectiveness. As I'm not a big fan of James Conner. James Conner had an effective year when Le'Veon Bell sat out, but he really hasn't been the same since. He's not. I think he needs someone to be his lightning to his thunder. I think he needs someone to be the lightning to his thunder. So if they're gonna do the running game, they need to get another running back there so that to pair with him. That I don't think he's a guy that can do it on his own. So as we look now going forward, Saturday's games, the Rams and Packers. This should be a pretty interesting matchup. Rams with the number one defense in the world against the number one offense in the NFL. Um, they're playing in the cold, probably more likely in the cold. So would that affect the Rams? Would the defense be able to stop Aaron Rodgers? We'll have to check that out. And then the nightcap, the Ravens and the Bills. Can the Ravens defense stop Josh Allen and then high powered offense? Will Lamar Jackson be able to make plays, against that Bills defense as well? It's also a pretty good defense. Would he be able to run all around like he did against the Titans defense, or will he have to make plays from the pocket? He should be some good games. By the way, two outdoor games, two cold games. Hopefully, some snow and some effectiveness happens. That'll be good to see. And then as we go to Sunday, an outdoor game, the Browns and the Chiefs. Wonderful. I think that's a really good, a really really good game. Obviously, I think the game plan will be to keep Mahomes off the field. They'll run the ball with Hunt and the other one. The Browns will. I want to say Kevin Mack for some reason. Kevin Mack is the one from the '80s. Nick Chubb, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. Will they run the ball probably keep Mahomes off the field? But hey, listen, it's Mahomes, it's the Chiefs, quick, high-powered offense. You know, if this turns into a rout, don't be surprised. Um, and then of course the Buccaneers and the Saints, and I mentioned this in prior podcasts. So we have a team meeting two teams meeting each other for the third time, and team, the Saints, have beaten the Buccaneers twice already, and it is a lot harder to go into the Saints, for the Saints to beat the Buccaneers for a third time. Excuse me. So can the Saints do it, or will Tom Brady, the Buccaneers, beat the Saints and move on to the NFC Championship round? It's gonna be interesting to find out. Um, but I think, and you got the two old guys. If you've seen on Twitter, you've seen the picture that Tom Brady and a lot of people are retweeting that no the Tom Brady and Drew Brees with gray and beards and everything like that. So the two oldest quarterbacks, maybe not maybe, probably two of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time without question. So Buccaneers and Saints, um, 6:40 on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening will I think will be very special because it might be this will probably be the last time we see Brady versus Breeze, um, because Drew will more likely probably retire at the end of the year. On Monday, we had the number three Ohio State Buckeyes going against the number one Alabama Crimson Tide. And boy, was this, some people were hoping for a good game. And listen, blowouts can be good games. It can be a good game. It definitely can. And I if you were to say this would be a good game, I don't think you would just have to be just an Alabama fan. Some great scoring, um, for the most part, mostly made by Alabama, but they beat Ohio State, beat the drums off of them, 52-24. Devontae Smith had 12 catches for over 200 yards in the first half. Jimmy Waddle came out there and tried to play, caught a couple balls. Mac Jones was doing his thing. Alabama Crimson Tide they were just there, and they had every star being a star. Najee Harris, Mitchell Smith and Waddle, and quarterback Mac Jones. They had their biggest game of the year with 621 total yards of offense. It's the most points they scored in a national title game since 1953. It yeah, it was something special. Um, so the Crimson Tide are going to go down. The 2020 Crimson Tide are going to go down as one of the best teams ever, and they're going to be in a debate for the greatest single season team of all time. They had a wonderful season. They played 13 games in this crazy 2020 year, and you got to give them credit. They were so good this year. Um, Nick Saban is credible his seventh national title, six with Alabama. He won one with LSU as well. So you have to give him so much credit as well. And it's I don't know how you're going to stop Alabama. I don't know because they are now starting to they're starting to be more than just defense. They're starting to be offense, and they are getting quarterbacks and receivers. They're getting the fastest guys in the seemingly in the world playing in their teams and then the defense. So I just don't know how you're going to stop Alabama. I really don't. You're really gonna have to out scheme them or hope for or hope that guys like Mac Jones and all those guys leave and they can't reload. But every year it seems like that's what happens. That they just reload. And so uh, the 18th national championship for Alabama, unreal. As for Ohio State, back to the drawing board. They're going to lose Justin Fields and lose Chris Olave to the NFL draft. But I don't think I think they'll still be, they reload too. So I think they'll be okay with the Big Ten. Even though Michigan has re-signed Jim Harbaugh, and Michigan, I don't know if Michigan can be a threat to them. Um, Same with Northwestern, although Northwestern is going to give them one hell of a show. Michigan State, Penn State, and Indiana. I don't know if Indiana can continue their play of being great, but yeah, I think we're going to see Ohio State once again in the college football playoff very very soon. So what a wonderful year! It's so wonderful. I'm just glad we were able to get through a season, get through a time, and we were able to play college football and make it to the national championship. And we didn't have any big time things where anybody were. I don't think anybody was hospitalized or anybody was, obviously, you know, close to on death's door or anything like that from COVID. Yeah, sure, people call it COVID and things like that, but it seems like for the most part, everybody is come out of it for the better. At least right now. We don't know what the long term effects, but still, great, great to have this college football season. We definitely needed it. And before we go, let's quickly talk about some COVID issues that's going on. The NBA has canceled a few games because we had Seth Curry come down with COVID, and then doing contrast and case, the Sixers didn't have any players, so one time they had like seven guys had to sit out because of the COVID stuff, and same thing with the Celtics. The Celtics had some COVID issues, and I think Jason Tatum had to sit out, and then some of the Celtics games had to be canceled. So a lot of things are happening right now, but NBA should fight through it. They just they have they already changed the rule. You can't have guests at a hotel. You know, you're staying at a hotel on the road, no guests because that'll be you. So I think that's something that you got to do. I don't think they need to go back to a bubble. It shouldn't have to. It shouldn't have to be like that. You know, and last year the Major League Baseball had this issue. They had some issues to begin the season, and but the Cardinals and the Mets and the Marlins all had to postpone games for COVID issues, but they were able to continue on and make it through and play all 60 games. And I think the same thing can happen with these teams. They can play these games and play all 72 games. I think they can have without having to do the bubble. And the COVID issues is going into the world of professional wrestling as well. Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, was brought down with COVID-19, as well as possibly many others. None have been announced, um, but it more than likely uh, is because if you watch Monday Night, you see there was some. They were definitely short-handed. Some people, some noticeable players were not there, like Oscar, the tag champions from the Hurt Business, and a few others. And you had all these other things where people were doing double duty, you know, and so it was very noticeable. And apparently there's some COVID issues in some of the other ones as well, Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling and a lot of other places. So we'll have to go ahead and see what these COVID issues do with these leagues, and we also know about what went down with the Cleveland Browns this past week. So we'll keep our eye on that. All right, y'all. That's gonna be it for me this week. Make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what I do here on my podcast, what videos I do on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ATrip20, and what video games I play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ATrip20. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back next week, uh, going over the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, previewing the conference championships, and talking about any other things that's going on in the world of sports, other than hockey. Unless there's some really big news in hockey, then maybe we might talk about it. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.